Hi guys, Ariel with Arielpaints. Today I'm going to show you my quick on-the-job dinosaur design, and I do want to point out the difference between this dinosaur and my dragon, which I will link my dragon videos up above as well so you can check out. But I want to specifically point out that my dragons are very spiky. There's a lot of harsh edges, lots of horns. My dinosaur is softer. My dinosaur has rounded edges and just a few distinctive horns placed strategically to make it look like a dinosaur. I also really like doing my dinosaur in rainbow colors. This particular one stroke is the Diamond Effects Bright Rainbow, which I love and I use so much for boy designs, specifically when boys want rainbows because it's not very girly, but really fun. Anyways, for me, the kids asking for dinosaurs always tend to be the very, very little boys. You know, the 3-4-year-old boys are typically the ones asking me for the dinosaur. And I think this just really lends itself to being very, very cute and whimsical and fun. You can absolutely do this in green. You can do it in pink for girls and add glitter. But regardless, it's very simple, very, very quick. And stick around and I will show you a step-by-step. And I promise you it'll be an easy, easy addition to your on-the-job boy designs. Starting from one corner of my eyebrow, I'm going to pull a ribbon shape up and around my forehead into an arc, and I'm going to end it at the corner of my other eyebrow. From there, I am going to do just an arc rainbow right underneath that, and you'll see there I flip my brush and I get paint from the other side of my brush where it hasn't run out yet to finish the rainbow. And then you can fill in any gaps with the heel of the brush. I just have a few here that I need to fill in with that blue. Now I'm going to do an upside down rainbow at the bridge of my nose and then fill it in with the heel. This is all one stroke, no sponging. So you can be really strategic on how you do the one stroke so that you don't have to grab a sponge and you're not doing that much correcting. For the eyes, I'm going to do another rainbow shape. Starting at the inside corner of the eye, I'm going to arc it up so that it meets my eyebrow and probably goes just a little bit over my eyebrow to cover it up a little bit, but it's going to fill in that gap over the eyes very quickly. So now from the outside corner of my eye, making sure to keep the red on the outside, I'm going to pull that one stroke down my cheek and into the corner of my nose. And I am strategically doing this pretty high up on my face so that I don't end up with a huge dinosaur. I've said this in a few other videos, but I'll reiterate, just because it's a full face design does not mean it has to go to the hairline and all the way down to the chin. Full face designs can stay in that heart shape of the center of the face and still look like a full face design. So I went ahead and I filled in the cheeks with the blue on the heel of my brush, and now from the line on the inside corner of my eye, I'm just connecting that one stroke back up, pulling it down the side of my nose, and then I'm filling in with the red on the toe of my brush. Now I'm just going to sweep it around my nose so that it looks nice and finished and clean, and that the nose isn't too red because it's just going to look weird if it's too red because there's not that much red in this mask. So I'm just blending it in, going back between the toe and the heel so that I have a nice smooth transition. And that's the basic shape. You can do this so fast on the job. This is an easy design to remember as well, because if you look, it's just a series of different arcs and rainbow shapes, and you're just flipping them around in different ways. Okay, now let's talk stencils. I like to use both of these BAM stencils. The one on the bottom is 1005, it's the BAM Reptile stencil, and the one at the top is 1004. These are both great stencils and I like them very much. I tend to use the reptile one more for my snakes and my dragons. And then I like to use the other one for my dinosaurs and my Ninja Turtle masks, just so that I have a more distinctive look when I'm doing those different faces. So now I'm going to take my black StarBlends and I'm going to load up both sides of a smoothie blender. And I love to use StarBlends on the job because if my base is still wet, which usually if I do a one stroke design really quickly, it's going to be wet for a little while. So then when I try to put a stencil over it and add more wet paint, that's when I get a sticky mess. If I go in with StarBlends instead, I'm usually better off. It's quicker and I'm not fighting as much with wet paint on wet paint. The StarBlends tends to kind of meld into the wet paint, especially on hot days. So I'm going to go ahead and add these scales to the main rainbow on the forehead, down the bridge of the nose. I'm going to do them kind of concentrated in each hump of the top of my dinosaur shape as well. And I cannot see a thing while I am doing this on myself because I'm covering my eyes, which I do this every time when I stencil on myself. It's so hard to see, but you get the idea. And then I'm just going to do them in the larger part of the dinosaur cheeks as well. You can do as much or as little. If you're really pressed for time, I would just do it on that main center hump of the dinosaur and then I would move on because it's enough texture. And this is great in lots of different colors too. So thought the black would look nice and dramatic on camera, and it did. I liked it. Okay, so now that our stenciling is done and we've got lots of great texture, I'm going to load a filbert brush with white, and I'm going to start at the front of my eyebrow, pressing down, and then when I get to that hump, I'm going to turn the brush and pivot it so that I get a nice shape. So I'm starting with the full press of the filbert brush. When I get to about the middle, I twist and I pull, and then I get some nice dinosaur horns. The horn on the nose is very simple. I press down and then twist up to make just a really simple teardrop because I don't like the horn on the nose being too large or too crazy. I think it's just distracting. At this point, you can absolutely add detail. I don't think this came off very well on camera, but in person, it's a lot better. You can just add some detail around the horns as if the horns are actually coming out of the skin, which I did at the top. And then for the nose, I added nostrils towards the front of the nose, closer to the horn, so that you can see them when you're looking on to the face. I don't like to do them too close to the edges of the nose on dinosaurs. I just like two little almond shapes. I think it's simple. And again, think about, I'm usually doing this on 2-3-year-olds. They're the little boys that ask me for this. They're at this point losing patience with me. So I don't add a lot of detail to this. I do a couple nostril holes at the front of the nose. Maybe I'll get a horn outlined, which here I'm really doing just kind of a low light on both sides to make sure that it's really standing out. And that's just about all I get done before they are ready to get out of my chair. And that's okay because the one stroke makes this really impactful, and it's perfectly fine to stop right here. If you do have time, then you can go ahead and outline the entire design, and it's just going to add to the depth and the impact of the design. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about outlining. So you can see right here, I am outlining just on the very tip of my brush, and that is perfectly fine. It's going to give a really light, fine outline. But I do want to show you what it looks like, the difference between pressing and pulling up on your brush and just outlining with the tip of your brush. So I'm going to start by just outlining this top part with a very thin black line. And then I'm going to go over it and show you the difference of when you add some additional pressure in the right spot. So the top of my dinosaur is outlined, but can you see the difference when I skate on the tip of my brush and then in the crevices push down and then pull back up and push down again? And I'm going to start a little heavier handed, pull back up on the tip of my brush, pushing back down. So I'm putting more pressure on those little inside humps where there would be natural depth, opposed to the side I haven't done yet. Can you see a difference? I see a difference. It's very, very subtle, but if you can keep this top of mind when you're outlining, you're going to get more depth in your designs without doing that much more work. So I'm going to demonstrate this again about the emphasis of the thickness of the line. On this side, I've gone very, very thin, and there's just a little bit of a heavier line towards the nose. It looks fine, but on this side, I'm going to skate on the tip of my brush. On the outer corner of this, I'm going to push down, and then I'm going to lift back up so that I have a thin to thick to thin line. It's very, very subtle, but which side do you think looks better? I think the side that I was really conscious about going thin to thick to thin looks better than the opposite side. But let me know what you guys think down below if you think it makes a big difference. I do. So I'm going to go back over this side and I'm going to put some emphasis on the outside corner, and then I'm going to pull back up. And to me, I see a huge difference when I'm really, really conscious about varying those line widths. I think it adds a lot. I hope you guys like this on the job dinosaur. Please like and subscribe. If you haven't already, ring the bell for notifications. When I do giveaways, they are always something you need to comment on within the first 24 or 48 hours, so important to ring the bell. Please comment down below. The easiest way to get a hold of me is in the comments on YouTube. I love hearing from you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.